you know. So I usually do my homework. I'll find somebody who knows somebody or something. They could give me some information, like, who is it? Like, who is he? And, you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
I had all of it.
So this is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
French Montana just can't catch a break because leave it to 50 Cent to keep his boot pressed tight on his neck. That man stays locked and loaded with a troll, always ready to unleash the second French's name pops up on the blogs.
But this time, it's not just one of 50's slick jabs. It cracked open a way bigger conversation. French Montana might not just be dodging industry drama. He might be walking straight into something even more dangerous, the golden cage of Dubai royalty. On the surface, the headlines scream flex, French Montana engaged to Dubai princess worth $18 billion. To the casual fan, it looks like French finally went from local hustler to global kingpin. But scratch past that glitter, and the shine gets murky real quick. Word in the streets is his so-called fairy tale engagement ain't about romance at all, it's about survival. With Diddy still drowning in federal pressure and whispers that the feds are circling everyone linked to those bad boy freak-offs, French's sudden Dubai connection is looking less like love and more like an escape plan.
Colin comes out, like we said, and now you have real deals on the table. And out of all those, you go with Diddy.
That's not how it really went.
Was it Diddy? Was it Bad Boy MMG?
Yeah, I went to go see Ross. And Ross was like, I got an opportunity for you. I don't have the money for you, but I got the opportunity. I guess because the same thing Meek did, the same thing Wale did. I guess whatever, the way the situation, his label was, he wasn't trying to give me the money I wanted. And I wanted like a whole bunch of money. But he was like, look, let's do it like this. Let's call Puff. And let's get him to give you the bag. You can still be MMG / you know what I'm saying? Bad Boy, Coke Boys, yep.
Right. How much money did you get?
$2 million.
French Montana allegedly needed a plan B, and Dubai looked like the perfect escape route. But here's the kicker. Paradise comes with shadows. Anyone who really knows Dubai's underbelly will tell you, yeah, the towers shine, the rides drip in diamonds, and the cash flows like water. But behind those palace walls, the stories get darker than the desert night. For years, whispers have floated about certain royals with appetites so outrageous they make Hollywood scandals look like kids' TV reruns. Rumors of princes collecting pretty boys, A-listers being flown in for private entertainment, and secret parties too wild to even spell out publicly. They didn't just pop up yesterday. So when people look at French, someone long known for chasing the next big bag, partying harder than most, and staying close to powerful men to climb the ladder, and suddenly see him arm in arm with a princess backed by a $7 billion safety net, the math starts looking way too convenient. It's not that folks think French can't fall in love, it's that they believe survival might have been the louder motive. And this is where 50 Cent's shade slices sharp. When he says French got bought, it stings because it's not just about a flashy engagement ring. It's about the image of French swapping one master for another. French thought he was running from Diddy's chaos, only to end up right back in the same kind of game. Different city, different players, but the same rules. Powerful men with endless money and zero accountability calling the shots. The irony is brutal. He believed Dubai was his clean getaway, but if even half the whispers about those princes hold weight, French didn't escape the fire. He walked straight into a hotter stove. And here's the scary part. Unlike the feds, who eventually cut deals or shift their focus, royalty in Dubai doesn't play around. They play for keeps. That's why this so-called $7 billion escape plan is starting to look less like a lifeline and more like a gold-plated cage. Sure, maybe he bought himself some time, but the question is, at what price? Now let's rewind, because to really understand French's Dubai move, you've got to first clock how he even slid into Bad Boy's orbit in the first place. French Montana didn't just land that contract off the strength of Pop That and call it a win. No way. The tea around his signing always had a strange odor, and with all that's been exposed about Diddy in the last 2 years, fans are digging through the past with new eyes. Here's what many forget. When French was deal shopping, he wasn't just some random mixtape kid hoping for a shot. He already had pull. French Montana wasn't some starving artist begging for a lifeline. He had real options. Rock Nation circled him heavy, Rick Ross and MMG rolled out serious interest, and even Kanye's camp flirted with the idea of signing him. Yet, out of all those power tables, French chose to sit down with Diddy, the man whose label was infamous for shady contracts, ruthless deals, and extras that had nothing to do with music. Why would he do that? Because Bad Boy wasn't just a record label, it was a lifestyle. And for certain artists, the lifestyle was the currency.
Hi, guys.
The whispers say Diddy offered French more than a paycheck. He opened the door to wild parties, endless women, and those notorious freak-offs where playing nice could mean getting rewarded. That's the side of the game people have been side-eyeing for years. Fans still point to 2 things. First, French admitted himself that he took less money up front than what Ross or Jay-Z might have handed him. He picked Puff anyway. Second, the receipts. Every time French was spotted stumbling out of one of those infamous villas looking drained, the internet clocked it. People dug up photos and clips from 2016 through 2019 of French looking, let's just say, worn out. And those moments always lined up with Puff's weekend celebrations. And when Diddy got arrested in 2024, the whispers turned into loud conversations. Producers, ex-associates, and insiders started spilling tea about what it really took to secure those Bad Boy deals. And suddenly, French's choice made way too much sense. One producer even swore Diddy straight up blackballed him after refusing to join one of those infamous freak-offs. So naturally, when French Montana rose so quickly under Bad Boy, the streets put 2 and 2 together. Oh, so you stayed, signed the deal, and played along. We know what that means. Now, is there a smoking gun receipt with French's name on it? Nah, but the circumstantial tea is boiling over. Think about it. You had Diddy gifting French his own Ciroc French vanilla flavor the day after they were allegedly together all night. Then that viral birthday video surfaces. Diddy lounging in a robe, French shirtless, both of them looking extra suspect. Add French's own words where he admitted he wanted the big bag, and Puff was the only one bold enough to put it in his hands. The label story looks clean on paper, but to the streets, it looked like a man willing to pay a personal price for career elevation, and that's exactly why people think he's running the same playbook in Dubai. Once you prove you'll trade dignity for opportunity, the assumption is you'll do it again, just with a bigger bag and a different master. And here's where the rabbit hole gets deep. Fast forward to mid-2024, French Montana pops out at Paris Fashion Week, not just showing off the latest fit, but allegedly showing off a fiancé. And not just any woman, Chiara, a princess tied directly to one of Dubai's ruling families. Baby, that is not your regular Bronx love story. It's a billionaire chess move dressed up as romance. That's not just romance, that's a straight-up chess move. See, at the exact time French was flaunting this royal engagement, the feds were stacking their mountain of evidence against Diddy. We're talking freak-off tapes, trafficking whispers, money laundering angles, the whole messy empire under the microscope. And suddenly, anyone tied too close to Puff was considered radioactive. Artists, assistants, producers, even random friends were getting subpoenas and side-eyes. And French? He wasn't just a friend, he was practically Diddy's shadow. The birthday trips, the champagne endorsements, the constant cosigns. If prosecutors wanted their case airtight, French's name had to come up. So what does he do? He doesn't just dip out of the States. He locks arms with one of the wealthiest dynasties in the Middle East.
Can I tell you what I actually learned? Yeah. A friend of mine is an air hostess, and her friend was on a flight with her, and her friend was eating like a very specific diet. So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs.
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl is shit on them.
Wow.
So the girls aren't even getting shit on, the girls are shit on these guys, because then the guys feel like it's sick, like it's a control thing. So then they know, like, oh, you listened to me for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's probably their kink, that girls actually listen to them.
No 2-minute noodle.
According to reports, the Sheikh's family is sitting on over $18 billion. That's not rap money. That's generational oil money. The kind of money where $7 billion is pocket change. And when you marry into that, you don't just get wealth. You get protection, you get political shelter, and you get residency in a country where outsiders don't dare poke around in royal business. That's why the streets are saying French isn't moving in love. He's moving in survival mode. They point at how fast this engagement popped up, how neatly it lined up with federal heat in the US, and how French has basically swapped New York and LA for Dubai palaces. To fans, it looks like a whirlwind fairy tale romance. To critics, it's an escape plan wrapped in Cartier and sealed with wedding vows. And let's not skip the optics, because every time French posts up with his princess, he looks polished, sharper, like a man reborn. But the comments, whew, they stay messy. Folks flood his page with lines like, "Boy, you traded in Diddy for Dubai," or the even harsher, "Better hope them sheikhs don't treat you the same way Puff did." And that's the sting. French thinks he leveled up by fleeing to Dubai, but people who know how Middle Eastern royals flex their power will tell you, sometimes you don't escape a fire, you just step into a hotter one. And here's the part French probably don't want to hear. Running from Uncle Sam straight into the UAE doesn't always equal freedom. It might just mean signing a whole new kind of contract. Dubai sells itself as Lambos, glittering skyscrapers and pet tigers chilling on yachts. But the whispers behind closed doors? Ugly. For years, influencers have flown in wide-eyed chasing that tax-free glam, only to sneak back spilling tea about palace parties where people, men and women alike, were treated like stage props. Because to some royals, outsiders aren't equals, they're playthings. And when you step into that world broke compared to their billions, you don't set the rules, they do. Now picture French Montana lined up against Sheikh Amara's family fortune of $18 billion. To them, he's not wealthy, he's ornamental. And let's keep it real, he doesn't even hold political weight. Sheikh Amara is the daughter of one of the most powerful autocrats of modern times. And French? He's just the accessory in her world. French might be famous enough to bring sparkle, but not powerful enough to push back if the royals ever decide he's just another shiny accessory. And that's exactly why folks online are dragging this whole move, saying it looks less like escaping Diddy and more like upgrading to new handlers. The difference? Instead of freak-offs in Miami villas, it's private palaces in Dubai. And let's not act like the family French just tied himself to is squeaky clean. Remember Sheikh Amara's viral Instagram divorce in 2024? She shocked the entire world with just 3 words, "I divorce you," publicly dumping her husband in a way almost unheard of in royal circles. Admirable? Absolutely. But also a flashing red sign of how chaotic royal life can get. Add to that her relatives, Princess Latifah's failed escape attempt, Princess Haya's alleged abduction, stories all tied back to their father, Dubai's absolute ruler, and French's brand new father-in-law. Suddenly, that fairy tale glow looks cracked. And when power that heavy decides to move against you, freedom is not guaranteed. That's why the internet keeps calling this French's $7 billion escape plan. On paper, it's genius. Marry obscene wealth, lock down permanent residency, and hide under a royal shield if the feds start knocking. But socially, it feels like deja vu. For years, people clowned French as Diddy's boy toy. The shirtless dinners, the awkward birthday serenades, the Ciroc rewards. And now the gossip says he didn't just swap sugar daddies. He upgraded to an entire dynasty of potential ones. And here's the cruel irony. Hip-hop sold us French Montana as the gritty underdog. Moroccan roots, Bronx hustle, Coke Boys pride. But Dubai royalty doesn't play like Bad Boy Records. You don't outshine them, you don't embarrass them, and you definitely don't outlive your usefulness. If even a sliver of those whispers are true, French didn't escape a velvet leash. He just locked himself into a golden cage.
Table, and I'm sure there were some other ones also.
I came to Steve Rifkin when I had Chopper Down. I walked in the office, it was him and Gabi. And Gabi was managing. I was like, yo, Steve, give me $200,000. let me go make music. You know what I'm saying? Just let me. Steve was like, nah, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Never got it.
Never got it. I dropped.
Which is funny because Gabi's the president of SRC. Steve is like the CEO, but
so I don't know what type of
but Steve makes the final call.
Yeah. So I asked for 200,000. You know what I'm saying? And it's like.
So yeah, French left the hot water boiling back in the States, but in Dubai, whew, baby, he might be sitting right on the stove itself. And here's the gag in all this chaos. The loudest voice dragging French isn't a blogger, a critic, or even the feds. It's 50 Cent. Now sit with that for a second. What if 50 ain't just clowning? What if he's actually throwing warnings in between the jokes? Because you know how 50 moves. He's got that big brother energy that roasts you in public but low-key still wants you to eat. Sure, he's been calling French washed, a Diddy leftover, for years. But maybe, just maybe, he sees the trap French is walking into. A trap that doesn't look like chains, but smells just like those velvet cages people whisper about in Dubai. But here's the flip. What if this ain't a trap to French at all? While we're looking at him like, damn, bro, you sold your soul for protection? Maybe this is exactly what he wanted. Some people chase freedom. Others, they chase comfort. French might not see himself as a prisoner in some palace. He might see himself as the chosen one. The Bronx kid who started with mixtapes and ended up with gold-plated security. We might call it hell, but to him it could feel like heaven, with AC blasting and a driver on call 24/7. That's why 50's jabs cut so deep, because underneath the shade, there's truth. 50 built his legacy on independence, owning his name, flipping street credibility into boardroom power. French? He might have flipped survival into servitude, but here's the paradox. Who's really winning? The man still fighting for respect in rap, or the man sipping tea behind palace walls, scandal-proof, untouchable, and cushioned by $7 billion worth of insurance? It's messy, it's ironic, and it's the twist nobody saw coming. To us, French looks like property. But to him, he might feel like royalty. And maybe that's the wildest part of all. 50 might be dragging him online, but French Montana could be smiling quietly, knowing this was the master plan all along. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this saga is only getting deeper and you won't want to miss the next drop.